1998 Redemptorist football will be talked about for years as the team that turned things around. From a state 3A ranking of 53rd, this group climbed all the way to number 6. In compiling a record of 9-2, best in the school in 3 decades, this team from North Baton Rouge took the city by surprise, lived up to its motto, raise the standard. No one knew what to expect from the Wolves when the '98 campaign kicked off with the Jamboree against Catholic of Point Capee, former offensive line coach. It didn't take long for the Pack to get rolling, though, demolishing the Hornets in the shortened format, 28-0. The Wolves' defense smothered the Hornets, holding them to minus 18 yards of total offense. In the season opener, the Dunham Tigers were the favorite going into the contest. Sean Lambert and a pack of Wolves took the opening kickoff back 97 yards. The route was on. Wolves went on to crush the Tigers 46-6. Something was brewing on the north side of town.
It smells good. Don't drink it. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. Don't believe nothing the newspaper's saying. We know what we've got, and we know we're good. We know we're good, right? We know we're a good football team, but we're just going to keep our little deal right in here in North Baton.
The third contest on the Rock, as Magella Field is so aptly named, turned into a water-soaked slop fest. The St. Charles Comets, ranked 5th in the state, brought in their traditional powerhouse and scored on the first possession. But the Wolves answered on the first play from scrimmage. The offensive line took control in the second half, continually battering the Comets' defense, and eventually running out the clock. A 20-14 come-from-behind victory, one of the stormiest nights in Redemptorist football history. With the excitement high and the Wolves 2-0, the Ascension Catholic Bulldogs were next on the menu. Several records were broken this night. It was total domination on both sides of the ball, as the Wolves took a 63-0 halftime lead. They would win the game 70-7. Local pollsters and media were starting to take note. The next contest took the Wolves to the 10th-ranked 3-0 Church Point Bears, the Wolves' first road trip of the year. The Bears smelled trouble as soon as the Wolves rolled up in their first-class charter buses. And it would not be a festive homecoming night for Church Point as the Wolves manhandled the Bears, cruising to a 35-0 shutout victory. The Wolves' second consecutive road trip led them to number 4 Livonia to battle the Wildcats. Local media pumping this game up all week long as the game of the week. This game was being talked about in every barber shop between Livonia and Baton Rouge. The Wolves would slow down the Jeremy Coleman attack in a vicious hit fest, winning a thrilling, heart-stopping contest. The Wolves, now 5-0, were ready for district play. District opened up with a heated rival Port Allen. The Pelicans, easily the most talented team in the district, boasted of mauling the Wolves. But in a packed house on a beautiful homecoming evening, the Wolves shut the Pels up. And with disciplined play, took a heated 32-14 victory. Wolves were now 6-0, and the showdown with the Bruly Panthers was at hand. The Wolves traveled to Bruly. Their first offensive play were in the end zone. Over 5,000 fans on hand to witness these two powers battle it out. In the end, Bruly beat the Wolves in a great contest. The Wolves suffering their first setback of the year. It was now time for the Pack to bounce back. For the first time in the history of Magella Field, the Wolves wore the away white uniforms. The Point Copee Central Cougars came to the Rock. This was no contest as the Wolves had 9 different players score in the game. On defense, Redemptorist held Point Copee Central to negative yardage in a 60-0 thumping. The Wolves were indeed back on track. West Feliciana Saints headed to Magella Field with sights of a playoff bid dangling in front of them. This turned out to be an offensive show. A back and forth seesaw affair of big plays, gambles, and excitement. The Wolves defense made a big stop in the final seconds, preserving a 34-28 victory, clinching a playoff spot themselves. final week of the season, the Wolves were set to entertain the Parkview Baptist Eagles in a Thursday showdown at the Rock. Parkview had been a dominant force in 3A football for some time, but this would be the Wolves' night. Plaisance, Redemptorist offensive line pounded the Eagles into submission, while the defense held vaunted running back Brandon Bourgeois to under 40 yards for the second year in a row. We're now primed for the state playoffs. The first round will have the Pack down in the Dogs Pound, down in Lutcher, Louisiana. The Wolves shocked the huge crowd, taking a 14-0 lead. But this would not be the Wolves' night, as the Bulldogs would come back for a 21-14 win and end the miracle season for the Wolves. The Wolves not only raised the standard in '98, but they also raised spirits of the school's students, alumni, and the entire North Baton Rouge community. There is a new game in town, and it is called Redemptorist High School Football.